Hey y'all, welcome back to BrowTab B School. I'm Alex. I am the girl behind the brand, the product, the online education, and this YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to continue with BrowTab B School minis. So these minis are shorter videos than our usual full-length ones, where I share quick tips and tricks with you that you can take and apply right away. In today's mini, we're going to stick with the theme we've been running with, brow mapping. Brow mapping specifically for microblading, but all of this information, all of these tips can also be applied to brow mapping in general, whether it be for permanent makeup, brow henna, brow tinting, lamination, any brow service. You can use these brow mapping tips. If you haven't checked out the last 3 videos on brow mapping, go check them out now and then come back and finish this one, because we are going to talk about the common mistakes that are made during brow mapping. So these common mistakes are 100% mistakes I made. I'm sure a lot of you have made them as well, but the great thing about these mistakes are that there are easy fixes. I'm going to tell you the mistakes today, and I'm going to tell you the easy fixes that you guys can make and you can apply today so that you're not making these mistakes anymore. Common mistake number 1 is not getting super crisp mapping outlines. I used to be really bad for this before I found the BrowTab Easy Glide pencil, which is totally a game changer, but you want to have super crisp outlines, because if you don't have that same precision that you would have if they were crisp. You don't know exactly where to start your stroke and where to end your stroke and where the brow actually is going to be. So the easy fix for this is to go back and watch the video on, first of all, how to sharpen your BrowTab Easy Glide pencil, because this is a game changer. Once the pencil is sharp, it is so much easier to get a crisp outline. And then watch the video on how to actually map out your client's brows. But the key is to take your time and then take a little extra time to actually clean up the mapping. So if you find that one area is a little bit thicker because you had to go and fix it and whatnot, you want to just take one of your micro swabs and clean up the area. Make sure it's super precise. Trust me, you will thank yourself for doing this once you get started with making those strokes. Common mistake number 2 is not actually using enough string when you're string mapping. So you need to have enough of your tool to actually string map properly. So you're going to want to have about a chest width amount of string, but you do need to pull more than that amount out of your box, because you have to wrap it around both of your index fingers enough that it's sturdy on there and it stays taut. So give yourself enough string. If you pull it out, start wrapping, and you feel like you only have this much, you can't get symmetry using only this much string. Your client's face is wider than that. So toss that piece, get a new piece, and just make sure you have enough of your tool to map properly. Common mistake number 3, this is one that I was very guilty of doing in the past, is not having your client sit up at least once during the mapping process. So it's crucial to make sure that you're checking symmetry with your client's face upright. Thanks to gravity, when we're upright, our face changes. It's not the same as when we're lying down flat, and when we're in the world, our clients are out in the world, their faces are generally upright. So that's how we want to measure our brows. This is extremely important when it comes to elderly clients, because of, once again, gravity, and a longer term of gravity, their faces change even more when they are upright as opposed to lying down. So we want to get them to sit up and double check that symmetry. So the symmetry that you are checking for once you get your clients to sit up is your horizontal symmetry. Your vertical symmetry you should check, but it really shouldn't change too much. So you want to be checking the fronts of the brows, the bottom and the top and the top of the arches, as well as the bottom horizontal point of where their tail is going to hit. These are the measurements that could change slightly, and they will be slight once your client does sit back up. I know it is easier to string map with your clients lying down, and that is what I do. I start with them lying down, I get all their points, and then before I go in and finalize the map with the pencil, I have them sit up and I double check these horizontal points. It is super important to do. I know it's a step that could easily be skipped because you got your clients to lie down. You don't want to have them sit back up and lie back down. Even for elderly clients is most important, but they generally are the ones that you don't want to have to do this with. But trust me, in the end, it's really going to be worth your time and their time to do that, to make sure that that symmetry is correct with their face upright. Common mistake number 4, and our last common mistake for today, is not taking your clients' wants into consideration. So we map out our clients' back brows based on their facial structure, their facial measurements, what their face can hold. But when it comes down to it, our clients have to rock these brows every day. So their personal preferences should come into account as well. So we don't have to always stick to the measurements. We can adjust for personal preferences. So I always mention this to clients once we get started. I'm going to show you what your face can hold, but if you have changes that you want to make, just let me know and we'll discuss the options. So things like having their brows start a little further out than the measurements allow, extending their tails, lifting their arches, lowering their arches, changing the width of their brows. These are all things that can be changed within reason. We just have to discuss it and make sure this choice is right for our client and for us as an artist. Side note on that is to make sure it's right for us as an artist. You never want to be felt pressured by a client into creating a set of brows or a change, an adjustment that you don't feel comfortable with. In the end, this is your work, this is your business, and these clients are going to be out there walking around with these brows telling people that you created them. So if they want something that's a little too wild and you're not comfortable doing it, this is the time to speak up and let them know that you're just not the artist for them. But there's nothing wrong with what they're wanting to have done. It's just not within your wheelhouse or something you're comfortable doing. If the changes are small and reasonable, I would go with them because we want our clients to be happy. We want them to be comfortable with the brows that we created for them. So that's today's mini. I hope you really like these tips. If you haven't watched the past mapping videos, go check them out. The last 3 videos have been on mapping and numbing. If you put all of this together, you're going to be numbing and mapping your clients like a pro. If you like the tips from today and you like this mini format, please leave me a thumbs up. If you want to see more minis like this, more full-length videos where I share microblading tips, tricks, advice, as well as business information and education, subscribe now.